on how a cash value life insurance policy can be better for producing retirement income than your IRA or your 401k that's invested in a well-managed portfolio of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. So I'm going to take you through a detailed illustration right now, obviously hypothetical, but as I lay out the numbers, I think it'll be easy enough for you to follow along. Okay. So on the left-hand side of your screen right now, you're going to see the traditional method of saving and investing in a 401k. And we'll say, for example, that in this scenario, the investor is going to invest their retirement plan in mutual funds, and they're going to contribute $1,000 per month. So they're saving $1,000 per month in their 401k. We're going to pretend that they're an old guy like me, 40 years old, and they're 25 years away from retirement. So this will happen consistently over the next 25 years. And so over the next 25 years, if they're able to average 8.5% rate of return, a true rate of return on their investment portfolio. So that's what we're going to use as our example here, 8.5% rate of return. But we do have to remember that within these mutual funds and within their 401ks, there are fees. And so we're going to factor in a fee of 1.5%. Now, you're going to see in your footnote there, the top footnote down at the bottom, I'm referencing an article from smartasset.com that said that these 401k and mutual fund fees can range anywhere from 1% to 2.2%. So I'm just kind of picking an average in there at the 1.5 mark. But just know that these fees do get taken out of the account. So they come off the investment performance. So if you're averaging 8.5% growth, and then you have to subtract out 1.5% fees, you end up with a 7% net growth or a net rate of return. So still pretty good. So if our investor was doing $1,000 per month contribution for 25 years and he averaged 7% net, his account balance at retirement age, at age 65, would be $812,117.64. $812,117.64. So that's the number. Now let's go over to the right side and take a look at a cash flow insurance plan, where if you were making the same $1,000 a month contributions into an insurance policy to pay the premiums. So same thing, it's $1,000 per month contribution for 25 contribution years. And I got into strong mutual insurance companies pricing software and ran the specs on this policy. And so what it would do is it would end up returning a 4.26% growth per year. Now, with an insurance contract, that's called the internal rate of return. So that's 4.26% net after all of the costs and all of the fees have been factored in. And so that leaves us with an account balance at retirement age, at age 65, of $538,992. And you're looking at the screen, and I think our work is done here pretty much, right? On the left-hand side, we have a better rate of return and a much bigger account balance. So that's going to provide much more retirement income, right? Actually, not so fast. You'll notice at the top of the screen, this specifically says during the accumulation phase, during somebody's working years, but during their retirement years, during their distribution phase, well, the rules of the game change completely. Why? Because the stock market is very, very volatile. And you'll see that it moves up and down all over the place. And you'll see that this is a great illustration that during the last 20 years, we've had two separate crashes of 50% or more. And so because the stock market is so volatile, just because we are averaging 8% doesn't mean that we can take out 8% every year. Because if we're trying to take out 8% while the stock market is crashing, it's going to drastically reduce our account values to make us run out of money really, really fast. So there is actually all sorts of research that's been done on market-based portfolios as far as based on historical market performance, what is the safe amount that someone can draw out of their market-based portfolio. So we're going to take a look here at the research that was done in 2013 by Morningstar. That's why it says, remember Morningstar. It was Morningstar and the American College of Financial Services. They got some professors and researchers together, and economists, and took a look at all of this data, the ups and the downs, and what was the safe withdrawal rate. Now you can see there's 4 squares. So there's different scenarios that they're looking at. So what we're going to look at, though, again, we're trying to keep everything even. We're going to look at a 20-year retirement period. We're going to look at a common portfolio that is invested. Again, this is for a retiree. Usually it's more conservative when you retire, right? So only 60% stocks and the other 40% is bonds. And when they run these Monte Carlo simulations, they're actually looking at a 90% chance of success that a person won't run out of money. Not 100% chance of success, not 99% chance of success, 90% chance of success. And so we came up with, looking at our grid, a 4% safe withdrawal rate. So that moves us into phase 2 of this scenario, which is the distribution phase. So again, looking at our 401k invested in mutual funds, we're looking to produce an income stream for a 20-year retirement. We remember that the account balance was a little bit over $812,000. And with the safe withdrawal rate of 4%, that's going to produce an annual income of $32,484.71. Now, how does that compare to cash flow insurance? Well, again, same scenario. We're looking at income for 20 years, same time frame. We have a much smaller account balance. But here's the thing, with cash flow insurance, the distribution rates are much, much higher. Why? Because as we are taking distributions from a life insurance contract, we are borrowing against the death benefit. So as we take distributions every year, that death benefit is coming down. But while we're taking distributions against the policy, there's still a guaranteed growth rate, and there's still an annual dividend that is supporting that policy. So even though we're pulling out money, the account balance is not going down by anywhere near that balance. And so the cash flow rate, your annual cash flow, is actually higher with the life insurance contract, $37,912. But that's not all the story, because with your 401k, you haven't paid taxes on it yet. So now you owe income tax. Now I'm just going to assume that you're in the lowest tax bracket, 10% federal, 5% state, but we have to take off 15% of income taxes. So now your $32,000 is down to $27,611.99. But with life insurance, it's completely income tax exempt. It's $37,912 net. And there's a hidden impact here, because with IRA distributions at this level, now 50% of your Social Security benefits are going to become taxable. So over the course of your lifetime, you're going to give tens of thousands, if not over $100,000 of your entitled Social Security benefit back to the government in the form of income taxes. But with life insurance, when structured properly, distributions do not affect Social Security benefits. I hope that you now understand the scope of the entire picture, that true wealth is not just about chasing rates of return. It's not building a large net worth. It's about one thing, and one thing only. What vehicle is going to give me the most money to spend after all the taxes and fees have been taken into consideration? And that really has to do with 3 things. Number 1, the distribution mechanism. Which of these vehicles is going to spoon off cash flow like crazy? Life insurance, 7%. 401k, invested mutual funds, only 4%. So number 1, distribution mechanisms. Number 2, how are those distributions treated by the tax code? And number 3, how do those distributions affect the taxation on my government retirement benefits like Social Security and Medicare? So here is the paradigm shift that I'm going to wrap up with. Where your money is parked is much more important than the rate of return that you earn on that money. Again, which vehicle is going to give me more cash flow and more money to spend? Clearly, it's the life insurance. Plus, during your working years, you have a death benefit, and that death benefit can double as a pool of resources for long-term care. Plus, there are disability benefits on the policy. So if you become disabled during your working years, the insurance company will actually take over this plan and fund those $1,000 monthly premiums for you. And during your working years, you can use the policy as a pool of funds for self-financing many of your purchases and eliminate banks from your life, whether it's consumer purchases like financing your automobiles, or whether it's investment opportunities like financing rental real estate. So there are a ton of benefits during your working years. Whereas with your 401k, that's just dead money. That money's locked up until you're 59 and a half years old with no other benefits during your working years. But just getting back to the retirement income piece, with the life insurance, more cash flow, no taxes, no market risk, and less worry. In fact, I often use the analogy with my clients that it's like they're using this cash flow insurance to fund their own personal pension. And that's why I tell most of my clients that in many cases, they're better off doing the 401k up to the match and then funneling the rest of the money into a cash value life insurance plan. Well, I hope this was educational and I hope that it helped. If you're interested in how these concepts would work for you as the foundation of your financial program and your retirement income plan, just reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great Friday and a wonderful weekend. God bless.